What's good, everybody? It's your boy Big Nate. Welcome back to Big Nate's Book Reviews, home of the best book reviews, and it is that time of the year again. We are going through every book that I've read this year. We're going tournament style down. It's about to be a bloodbath all the way through to see who is going to be the final book, the best book and books that I've read of the year. So we are going to do that. First off, peep the new. It's a smoking jacket. My landlady got me this smoking jacket, so from Goodwill, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So I had to represent. I also wanted to point out, full disclosure, it's actually December 12th, so we have a good like 2+ weeks I feel like left in December, and normally I'm the type to wait until the very last of December 31st, but I have some travel plans and I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to record videos and stuff, so I figured I'll get it in now, and then yeah, we can go from there. So without further ado, I can't even believe I haven't even sparked the doobie. You already know I got the doobie. It's ready to be sparked. And today we are smoking this, also in proportionate for every single author that we are reviewing today, according to how much I liked them and who advances to the next round. So I got the doobie right here, sparking it as we speak, and then we are gonna get into it. Okay, the doobie is officially sparked, and before we get into it real quick, I just want to say what I'm reading, because it's like a real shame, because like I said, it's almost the end of December, but we still got a couple weeks left. And I'm reading two books right now. The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud, which I've been reading for at least over 2 months now, so it's a crying shame. And then Pride and Prejudice, and I got some shit to say about both of these books, but just appreciate for a second how freaking and like a lot of that is endnotes, footnotes stuff. So I'm so close to finishing this. I probably wouldn't have finished it by year's end anyway, but we'll have this to look forward to for next year's rollover, because I'll put this in the tournament for next year. And then Pride and Prejudice, I'm also done, and I got some almost done. I got some choice thoughts on both of these, but we'll have to wait for the book review to come out, but just wanted to let the people know that's what I've been reading. But without further ado, let's get into the books of this year. Okay, I forgot how to share my screen for a second, but God willing, inshallah, the video is up right now, and then we are free to get right into it. So real quick, preamble. So I actually read a lot of nonfiction this year, like philosophy, psychology, like that type of shit. And as I was pointed out to me by a few people last video, you can't mix really the fiction with the nonfiction. So I have like the top half here, which is like randomly shuffled, but it's like the top half is like narrative books more so, because they're not all necessarily fiction, but they're like they're stories. Whereas the bottom half is just pure like whatever, like philosophy, psychology, shit like that. So you ever notice like whenever I hit the doobie, like a weird noise comes from my nose? I'm not gonna lie, I notice that every time when I'm editing that shit. It's like, what's even happening? But shit, what are you gonna do? So okay, first let's get right into it. Okay, so this is good. This saves me a decision right here. The Teachings of Don Juan already like automatically gets put in, because however this works. But okay, We Have Always Lived in the Castle and Don Quixote. I mean, bro, stop playing with me. We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I actually didn't even really like that much, to be honest, by Shirley Jackson. I did like a little book review on it, but it was very sort of like kind of slow, over the script. Like, don't get me wrong, there was some really cool stuff, but this isn't even a fucking question. Okay, The Name of the Wind and A Wizard of Earthsea. These are both actually good because they're like kind of fantasy-y, but although in much different ways. In fact, I'm going to talk about this at some point, but A Wizard of Earthsea, because like I said, they're both fantasy, but A Wizard of Earthsea is like not really, it's definitely like a novel, like it's a young adult novel, but there's no real like scenes, there's no like what I've said and what I'm gonna say is it's like a fantasy Siddhartha, if that makes sense, just broad strokes, almost like a parable. And Wizard of Earthsea has a lot of like real wisdom, I think. Wizard of Earthsea is not to be slept on. But so I thought The Name of the Wind also had some really interesting insight. In fact, fantasy itself just seems to have some really interesting things to say about, because it's funny, because fantasy is related to like magic and sorcery, at least like, in part. That's part of the whole thing. And the more I'm reading about alchemy, mysticism type stuff, it's also getting back to, in fact, Don Juan, as we'll see up there. It's like magic. So it's just, I don't know. Let me know if you got some good fantasy recommendations, but on some like wisdom shit, not on some stupid shit, or not stupid, but like pure entertainment. Bro, I'd be talking. And that didn't answer my question. I'm gonna say The Name of the Wind, because I feel like, for one, it was longer, it was more of like an actual like story, But I actually feel like A Wizard of Earthsea is more like quote unquote wise. Ursula K. Le Guin really has range. It's just like, it just wasn't what I was looking for at the time, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? So, Name of the Wind it is. Okay. So far, this is okay. Last year was truly a bloodbath. Okay, Man's Search for Meaning, Oedipus Rex. These are very different because the first one is like non-fiction. Hold on. I thought I lost you there for a second. Good comeback. Man's Search for Meaning by, what's bro's name? Viktor Frankl. Oedipus Rex by, not Shakespeare, Sophocles. This is actually kind of interesting. So I'm not going off of like what's the most historically best book or whatever. I'm just going off of how much I liked it. This is Big Nate's book reviews, not history, world literature book reviews. Man's Search for Meaning really kind of opened my eyes to what it was like to be in, not even just in a concentration camp, but like definitely that aspect too. And I really liked the life of Ivan Denisovich, which they seem like very similar to me. It's been a while since I've read Denisovich, but he was in the Gulag. And there's just like, I really like the idea of absolutely horrible, horrifying conditions of just like pure suffering. Like they're manufacturing suffering in the Gulag and the Holocaust. But despite all that, finding deep spiritual enrichment. I really like that idea, just in general. And I thought Man's Search for Meaning was written, I think, like very well. Like I feel like it's a good book if you're trying to get back into reading. Although sometimes that's not the vibe, you know, like historical nonfiction. And I liked his like little essays on logotherapy at the end. So, but Oedipus Rex is just fucking Oedipus. I mean, I read that low key. One, I was buddy reading with the homie Raina. Shout out to Raina, my lovely lady friend. But then at the same time too, it's also completely related to like Freud, because like the whole Oedipus complex. And it was just good, you know what I'm saying? Like it was good. It's hard because that's like a little play. I'm gonna say Man's Search for Meaning. Is that bad? Classic literary gang. Don't look at me right now. But no, I wear this shamelessly. Okay. Ooh, man, that, you know, this is too bad. This is really too bad, because Song of Solomon, I think, should have made it really far on this list. Song of Solomon, this has got to be, like, this is some last top tier bracket that we got randomly on the first one, because I really liked reading Song of Solomon, and it's a book that continues to grow on me. Like, I find myself constantly bringing it up, thinking about it, and that shit's just fire. That shit was it was really good. Anna Karenina, on the other hand, is no comparison, which is just big ups to Toni Morrison, because for every other book in existence, there's no comparison. It's Anna Karenina. But yeah, I have to do that. Just the scope of it. It's Tolstoy, I feel like, at his best. I say as if I've fucking read Tolstoy, but it's one of his biggest novels, and there's no way he's not, like, you can just tell bro is in his prime. This is an amazing fucking novel, which I'm going to talk about at length in a book video, so hit that subscribe if you haven't. But you already know it is. I gotta do Karenina. But really, you know, moment of silence to the Fallen Soldiers, Song of Solomon. Up next, Chekhov's Selected Stories and oh, okay, so I can't prevent this. Now we're getting into nonfiction territory, but this is okay because this is an easy one. Chekhov's Selected Stories, let me just say about Chekhov, bro is fire. I feel like it's the characterization, what he's able to do in like 2, 3, yeah, sometimes 2 pages, bro. But like, you know, 4, 5, 6. But sometimes, bro is good. Like, achieves a real power of depth, which I feel like is unique to the short story format. Like, I don't know, like the more I read people that are really in the short story element, like Chekhov, like Borges, it's like, I don't know, they're almost like separate types of writing, I feel like. But anyway, Chekhov is a master of this one. But then the Undiscovered Self and Symbols and the Interpretation of Dreams, like it was like 2 books combined into one, but altogether a pretty slim book still, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like these are really just 2 essays. I don't know, but had a really big impact on me, like intellectually, spiritually. So you know it's going to be that every time. I think that one might be one to make it towards the end. Okay, the Upanishads and then man and his symbols. Oh yeah, stop playing with me. Upanishads. No offense, Viktor Frankl. But Upanishads is just the way. That's another top book. Ancient Indian scriptures is what I would say, something like that, to describe the Upanishads. Essays and Aphorisms by Schopenhauer and the Republic. Man, that's a shame as well. This is another shame because Essays and Aphorisms, Schopenhauer should have gone really far on this list. I want to emphasize this. This is another top tier decision. I love Schopenhauer, at least from what I've read. Bro's a asshole. Bro's a curmudgeon. Very sexist. All the rest. But bro is so good at writing, like, it's crazy. And he's got some really interesting ideas. But what I love about Schopenhauer and like Nietzsche and the like is they incorporate like literary elements into their writing, and that really comes out in Essays and Aphorisms. On the other hand, the Republic is just the best to ever do it. Well, you know, that's what they say. But I love the Republic. Like the Republic was one of those kind of like life-changing books. I read it, I feel like, over the course of at least a couple months. Took notes and everything, and I don't know, it was very refreshing to read. I feel like a book as good as this, and the Socratic dialogue aspect is so cool. We'll talk about all that at some point later, but I really liked not only the philosophy, even more so I feel like I liked the form and the way the argument was actually presented conversationally and things like that, and just thought experiments and blah blah blah. Okay, whew. Is anyone getting tired, or is that just me? I'm slumped instantly, and I just had coffee, but you know what, that's probably the crash, you know what I'm saying? Interaction effect. And I just got off work, literally. I'm 9 to 5 now, bro. Okay. The Hero of the Thousand Faces, Twilight of the Idols, and the Antichrist. I know which one I'm gonna pick, but again, this is another shame because Twilight of the Idols and the Antichrist by Nietzsche was another amazing, fantastic book. In fact, I think, you know what, just as a mental exercise, like Essays and Aphorisms by Schopenhauer compared to Twilight of the Idols and the Antichrist, that would be really hard. Like, that's a good matchup. Which is to say that, like, this book is fantastic, or technically it's two books. Again, I don't know why that's like a theme today, I guess. But by the way, I think I would pick Schopenhauer. Ooh, I don't know. I take it back. I take it back. Because Nietzsche is actually so good. Okay, put a pin in that. Good thing, look, Saved by the Bell, or whatever they say. But The Hero of the Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell is just, there's no debate. This is, I feel like, one of my favorite, and especially in the nonfiction sphere, this has to be one of my favorite books I've ever read. But it's not for, let me just say, it's not for everybody. Just at this point in my life, my own interest right now, and just everything, The Hero of the Thousand Faces takes a W. I've taken so much away from that book. It's like, if you like The Power of Myth, that's like those ideas, like magnum opus style, like 500. I read that book over the course of, also, I feel like, at least 2 months. The Power, The Power of Myth and Cosmos. Oh, that's bad. Because this is what I have to say just instinctually about each of these. The Power and Myth, I can singularly trace that book to like changing my life in a very like real way, where I like the trajectory of my research interests, the people I was reading, the books I was buying, the things I was just interested in generally, completely shifted after The Power of Myth. And the resources it pointed me towards, and continuing on with The Hero of the Thousand Faces by Joseph Campbell, and et cetera, et cetera. So that book is, and it's just, I think it's just fantastic. It's written interview style. I'll talk about this at some point, but it's just, I think it's a great book. If you're interested in mythology at all and want to take it kind of seriously, The Power of Myth, it's very, I feel like it's a nice intro. But Cosmos is like, dude, Cosmos really made me feel some type of way. It awoke some latent feeling in me that it's been a while since I feel like I've really felt that, with that just true awe and wonder just at the universe, to put it frankly. Like I feel like I'm particularly inclined towards that in the first place. So reading Cosmos just brought it up to such a degree and pitch, because he's talking about the reality of this, like the scientific concepts behind it. We're gonna like, but in a way that's like so real, like wondrous and inspirational. Like, I know that sounds corny, but like it's just that good that those are the words to describe it. But this is just me, right? This is just me, but I feel like it's very accessible. Like it's definitely like a science book, but popular science. Like you can, if you can handle it, if you want to, and you can just take from. You don't have to try and pay attention to math, and there's not that much math in the first place. But I've already gone far too far. I hate to say this. I'm saying Cosmos. Like, I guess if I really had to pick, just because where the power of myth has taken me at this point in my life, with like in terms of my interests, I might push Cambridge. But in terms of just like raw book, Cosmos, and that's saying something. Wow. Okay. That was just round one, but look, it quickens up. Bear with me. It quickens up. Okay, the teachings of Don Juan and Don Quixote. So we already know who's winning this one. It's Don Quixote. But the teachings of Don Juan is super sick. I've recommended it to people. I'm like going to revisit it for sure. It's got me wanting to partake in some of its activities. And it's just, I think, a book with real wisdom contained within it. So I debated putting this in nonfiction, because this book is technically nonfiction. And that's controversial. People think it is fiction. Well, it all depends on whether you believe in magic or not, to be completely honest with you. And just for part, like, I won't even get into it. At the end of the day, I think the book is nonfiction. I'm really quite certain of it, and we can talk about why. But I think the dude who wrote it is low key actually a little bit of a square. And the things that Don Juan says, I don't think that bro could have come up with that, to be honest. I don't. And just a number of different, like, I won't go into the whole, there's a whole background on this, but call it nonfiction, but it's still narrative. So it's sick. Oh, I forget if I explained. Bro just takes, I mean, it's more in this, but bro just takes psychedelics and like goes, like, trips hard, and talks about his experiences with the shaman. You could say his like guide, I guess. What's his name? Don Juan. But with, like I said, there's plenty more going on. The rituals of preparing the psychedelics, which can be a years long process, and Don Juan himself, but Don Quixote. Nice try, bro. Although now I feel like maybe I should have gone, and it's narrative style, I forget too, because it's like little not diary entries, but it's essentially what it is, journal entries or whatever. So now I'm like, maybe I should have gone. Hard to tell, because it does have narrative elements, but it reminds me of Upanishads. Like, that's what comes to mind when I see Don Juan. The Name of the Wind, Man's Search for Meaning. Now, these are very different books. I think, I really did enjoy Man's Search for Meaning a lot. So I'm going to do this, but I really did like Name of the Wind. And fantasy isn't even really my thing, and I still really thoroughly enjoyed that book. So, yeah, take that for what it's worth. Giovanni's Room and Anna Karenina. I mean, again, stop playing with me. Anna Karenina is going to bulldoze. It has to bulldoze to the end. There's just no even denying at least to the end round. So, but Giovanni's Room was fantastic. I'll talk about that book, but at some point at a later date. But no, that was a good ass book too. And you'll see at length why I believe so. Okay, back to nonfiction. The Undiscovered Self, we're just going to call it that, and The Uncanny by Sigmund Freud. Undiscovered Self by Carl Jung, Uncanny by Sigmund Freud. This is, again, I know who's going to win, but the Uncanny it's a collection of essays by Freud that I thought were actually really good through and through. There's flaws, of course, it's Freud we're talking about. But I think all in all, the writing, I think, is actually really engaging. Like, bro is actually a good writer. That's why I think he's so studied still. But yeah, there's some wild stuff that goes on in this book, and I actually think I did a podcast on it with one of the homies. I have some podcasts in the backlog. They're coming. And separate point. Undiscovered Self I already talked about. Undiscovered. Yeah, of course, right? But yeah, no. Undiscovered self, symbols in the interpretation of dreams. I think that's like a really good condensation of like Jung's work in like small, hits you hard volume. I feel like it's pretty accessible. Uncanny, though, honorable mention, because it really is. Even just the titular essay, the uncanny, it is an interesting what makes something uncanny. And then he has other essays like essay on he basically there's a childhood memory of Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci, and he basically does this whole psychoanalysis thing and blah blah blah. It's just crazy, you know. It's crazy. Think in the Upanishads. Think is just a little basically it's philosophy. It's academic philosophy 101 in a little book. You know what I mean? It just goes through the major philosophical ideas and the major questions. That's like 101. It's good though. It's good, of course. But the Upanishads just stop playing with me. The Republic and the Tusculan Disputations. The Republic, the Tusculan Disputations got its form from the Republic. It's also a Socratic dialogue style where I'll talk about it later again at some point, but bro just goes into the countryside with the homies and they like be contemplating and he writes it down and that's the Tusculan Disputations and it's actually fire and Cicero is a beast and he you know what's funny who comes to mind? Like Schopenhauer and Nietzsche. I don't know, their ideas aren't, I think it's the way they write. But the Republic, yeah, stop blaming me. Dzogchen, the self-perfected state, and the hero with 1,000 faces. So I'm gonna pick the hero with 1,000 faces, but Dzogchen, the self-perfected state, is a nice slim little volume. I feel like if you're interested in like meditation literature, it's like that. I don't know the background of the guy. He's a contemplative. Like that's some shit he does, and there's a whole lineage behind it, and bros. But the thing is, the one I'm picking the hero with 1,000 faces because the hero with 1,000 faces is singular to me. Dzogchen is very like other meditation books, if that would make sense. Like it's just, but it's good. Like I don't know if I said that good. I almost said goodly. Seriously, that's crazy. Well, I didn't say that well, but Cosmos Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is cool if like it actually was. I really liked that book. I thought there was some just the notion that much of more of your life than you think is habitual and you can build good habits and also accumulate bad ones, and he talks about how to like make good ones and break the bad ones. But Cosmos, stop playing with me. Okay, round whatever this is here, I'm setting this down, we need a speed. Don Quixote, Man's Search for Meaning. Sorry, Victor. You're losing that one every time. Oh, you know what I'm afraid of, to be honest with you? What if it's Don Quixote versus Anna Karenina? Don't. But how could it not be? Oh, fuck. Okay, this is interesting. Look, so we're gonna lean into the aspect of this game that's format, because it's supposed to be just literature or like narrative, and then the bottom half's just supposed to be nonfiction. Look, this is still interesting too. Anna Karenina versus the Undiscovered Self and Symbols in the Interpretation of Dreams. Actually, this is fucked up because I really want to pick. I really like the Undiscovered Self, but it's no. If push comes, and then fuck. You know what? Look at this. It's about to work its way down, huh? Yeah. I don't know how would I fix that. I don't think we can fit. Look, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. Okay, the Upanishads and the Republic. Oh. I'm gonna say the Republic. I'm gonna say because it's a very, like I said, it's a long book. It has like a lot of depth to it. The Upanishads is like they're really like verses almost. Sometimes they're like a few pages, but the actual primary text is like sparse. But there's so much wisdom contained in those words that it's like you could really write a whole Republic's worth of writing on the Upanishads. But ultimately I'm gonna say the Republic. The hero with 1,000 faces, Cosmos. This is a good one too. I'm gonna try and go faster, by the way. So let me even just like, okay. I kind of want to say Cosmos, bro. That's bad. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm gonna pick the hero with 1,000 faces. But it could, on another day, it could have been Cosmos. But Going with the hero. No further questions. Thank you. Okay, look, there it is. This is basically what we were waiting for. This is a tough one. And if you're watching at home, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is a very tough decision. On the one hand, Don Quixote gets classics points just right off the rip because it's historical. He was writing at the time of Shakespeare. It's old head. Anna Karenina is like, if I'm being honest, it's probably better written in that, like, in a like objective sense kind of thing. Same with the stories and the character. Maybe not the character. They're just different. But like, you know, Anna Karenina, I feel like, because, you know, and Don Quixote kind of drags on sometimes. Not even drags on, but there's like a lot of misadventures, and it's not that it's flaws. Whereas Anna Karenina was essentially a flawless book. I certainly can't think of one. I was gonna pass, but like I can't even do that shit, dude. Okay, I need to just pick. But this is crazy. Let me know in the chat, seriously, what would you pick between Don Quixote and Anna Karenina? I can't. Okay, I know this is probably like hurry the fuck up, bro, but I think Don Quixote is a really rich book. And we're just gonna leave it there. That one hurt. Okay. Wow. That was horrible. I really just went through something right there. I feel like this is the come down. The Republic versus the... Okay, that was horrible timing. My camera battery... Or no, my battery didn't die. The memory got full, so I just deleted like a bunch... I just sat here and deleted a bunch of stuff in silence while I got the whole setup. But okay. Okay, I gotta go quicker for real, because... Republic, honestly, this is kind of surprising me too, because I thought the Hero of a Thousand Faces might have won, because that's like an all-time book for me. But the Republic, I think I might have got more out of it at the end of the day. Okay, well, this is a good one. Okay, so we have Don Quixote and the Republic. This is funny because in Don Quixote, he talks about Plato. Like, he constantly refers to Plato. And I feel like maybe even the Republic by name, but definitely Plato and Socrates. So again, I think these are, let me just say, I think these are our winners right here. Don Quixote and the Republic for each respective section. But if we want to play this game... Oh, that's actually tough. Dude, I've already laid waste to so much for Don Quixote. I feel like I can't... Honestly, my heart says the Republic. That's the thing. You know, I can fight it this way and that way, but I know in my heart, I think it's the Republic, which is kind of surprising me, but in hindsight makes perfect sense. It is one of the best books in philosophy ever, in history of philosophy ever written. One of the best books of literature, period. Human literature. So, yeah. But Don Quixote is a close second. And a lot of these books, I want to take a second to shout out all of these books for because I feel like I had a pretty good ass reading year. It's not crazy. It's not over 100 books, far from it. I think it's like 24 or 25. But I feel like they were all good books. You feel me? And like I said, I'm that close, and then this close. Hold on, let me even show you. Let me be abundantly clear. It's because a lot of that is bullshit. Hold up. I'm that close, you know. It's not nothing, but and I don't know if I'll finish by the end of the year. Keep following me on Goodreads to find out, but I'm excited to talk about these next year as well. Okay, without further ado, first off, hit that subscribe and get to my Instagram, Big Nate's Book Reviews, which is in fact some of the book reviews. etc., etc. And then thank you for watching Big Nate's Book Reviews, home of the best book reviews.